We are live on Twitch.
Hey, welcome, folks. Welcome to the 27th episode of Tell Us About Yourself, the first one of 2021.
Yeah.
And of course, it's me this week, Dustin Garman, your regular host. I want to thank Gary Snyder for the big guy coming in last week, and he's one of my good friends. And also my buddy here, of course, as usual, Jeffrey Fox.
Hey man, how's it
And
going?
Today's special guest is none other than Candy Man Dan. How's it going?
I'm good. How about you guys?
Pretty good.
Really good. Oh man. So where to start with the 2020 LFF Rookie of the Year?
I'm thinking candy, like M&M's,
Candy.
Twizzlers.
Well,
No,
the people watching our Twitch can see that we are currently in a candy shop. Actually, if I turn that off quickly, you can see it, and I'll put Dan back in. So it's all good. Uh,
now everybody's gonna be thinking of 50 Cent.
Well, funny story right there. Had the grand gathering happened, that was going to be my entrance music.
Oh, really? Oh, that's pretty good.
Oh yeah.
that's good.
So, of course, we had the Rack Pack on last week, of course, and I had or 2 weeks. I'm sorry, I'm in the loop. 2 weeks ago, but I told you that I was going to ask that question. You know, how many times, has Angela, have beaten you and stuff like that. But how did how did you really first hear about the LFF?
So I've played numerous other card games, but Kurt Polka and I both played the game Universal Fighting System, UFS, prior to this. And we were both at the 2018 US Nationals for that game.
All right.
And he brought two decks with him to teach me. So he taught me the game, and after that event, he had Jacob Maynard reach out to me, and I actually ordered the Snake Pit and Super Ombre starter deck off of him. And it came with a rolling forearm because they were running that promotion for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably played. I mean, I enjoyed it. I was playing games with Angela and my son. We played like 10 games. It would just be like a thing that we would pick up from time to time and play. But it wasn't very frequent. That actually turned out to be a pretty rough year. I lost my father, and I wasn't doing a whole lot. And then, actually, coincidentally, 2019 UFS Nationals came around, and while I'm there, Kirk reaches out to me. He goes, "Hey, there's a creative competitor competition not that far from you. You should go to it." And I was like, "Man, I'm in Atlanta right now. I can't take another weekend off." It was the very next weekend. And I was like, my son has a soccer tournament. I was like, I just can't swing it. And then the next day he messaged me. He's like, "Hey, there's literally another one the very next weekend," because there was one at ArmorCon in Rhode Island. And then the very next weekend, or maybe it was 2 weekends later, there was FreeCon. And I was able to attend that. And that really got the ball rolling.
Yeah. So speaking of FreeCon, so what type of deck build did you use into it? Because I know some people who don't know you might be surprised at what you used to win FreeCon.
It was the Snake Pit starter deck with only 3 changes. Rolling forearm at 7, one more time at 8, strength and numbers at 9. The only 3 changes to the entire deck.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'll be honest. Going in there that day, I like I said, I played maybe 10 or so games prior to that, and I was really learning throughout the course of the day. I'll never forget my second match. I played against somebody that flipped their entire deck on like turn 3 or something, and they were just trying to win by count out. and I came one turn away from losing from count out, and I happened to hit the finisher that won me the game before I lost to count out, and I had never even known what count out was to that point. But like as the day went on, I was just picking up more and more about the game.
And you know, coming out of that box set, you know, we hear this all the time that you can actually make it far just by grabbing a box set, folks.
Yeah.
And we asked them about their deck. They're like, "Hey, we just started playing today, and we got this this little Kickstarter box. So you can, you can make it far. It's just all about the turn rolls."
Yeah. It really, I mean, some days that's what it comes down to. I mean, is the turn rolls. I mean, you hate it when it happens to you, and I mean, I feel equally as bad when I do it to an opponent when you just win in 3 rolls or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It never feels good. You want a back and forth game.
Yeah.
I mean, that event was so crazy. I mean, in the first round of Top Cuts, I played Sage. She and I went to crowd meter 3 or 4, and it was the most incredible back and forth. She was playing Gold Standard, and then in top 4, I had a crowd meter 4 match. He was playing David Starr. He actually had like a hearing issue, and so a lot of the times, like I was like whenever we rolled turn rolls, like I was holding up the numbers with my hands, and we were just. He hit a crowd meter 310 against me, and I'll never forget on the 3rd roll, out of frustration, I just kind of skipped the dice. It bounced off of a can of Monster and landed on a 10. I kicked out on crowd meter.
And also, folks, don't forget you can ask questions in our Twitch or on here.
Well, Evil Ed has his question of cheese or pickle.
God, I love each of them. But considering I order extra pickles on everything that I can, pickles.
Okay. And the phenomenal one, of course, wants to know pineapple or sheep.
Sheep.
Okay. Yeah.
We gotta ask Kurt if we can trademark that.
Sheep. Yep. All right. Sweet or sour, coming from Dottie Dart.
Oh, sweet.
All right. And yeah, if you have questions in the Zoom chat, you can use the raise hand feature, and at some point I'll notice it. Flipping back in, but.
Now, a couple of weeks ago, when I was talking to Angela, we were talking, back to her, like wrestling history, and I'm guessing, did you have quite a bit of a wrestling history?
Yeah. I mean, when I was very young, my father used to bring me to shows. And then, I mean, just like most people my age, I was just consumed by the Attitude Era. I don't know if I missed a wrestling show from 94 through 2004. I mean, I watched everything under the sun. And then I'd miss stuff here and there. And it was funny enough, I was talking to somebody about this earlier. When everything happened with Benoit, I stopped watching wrestling, and I didn't get back into it until my son started watching it with me. And now he's at the point to where he's kind of aged out of it for a little bit. And it's hard to find the time again to do so. But I mean, I've been a pretty big wrestling fan. I mean, I used to play the Raw Deal card game as well. I traveled all over for that one.
Sorry, doing some things.
You're good.
Master Micah would like to know pancakes or waffles.
Oh God, chocolate chip pancakes.
All right. Candyman wants to know who's the best match against you have ever had. And Phenomenal One wants to encourage you that it is a trick question. Don't fall for it.
Candyman's gonna be on the couch.
The
Well, it depends
best.
on his answer.
Yeah, I know.
I've had a lot of great matches. That's a really, really tough question. It probably is top 4 of Virtual Grand Gathering against the Boss.
Okay.
I want to say that match went on for almost 2 hours. And everything was outthinking one another. And it actually came down to the cliffhanger finish because it was a last man standing match. And I was about to say, no, don't add anything to your hand. And then I was like, wait a second. You have 2 finishers in your hand. I can just add the last finisher from your discard pile to your hand and then just target your hand and win the match. That match was incredible, and I was getting crushed from the start. And Boss will always talk about how I have the most timely taunts opponents against him because that taunt probably won me that matchup, and I recently cost him a triple threat steel cage match with a taunt as well. I didn't win the match either, but I cost him the match.
Yeah. Which is always good.
Mama's hungry.
So, while the Candy Baby gets switched over, Candyman would like to know why Kirk gets more attention than her.
Why Kirk doesn't get more attention? Come on.
I thought a couple of weeks ago was going to be embarrassing.
I am. He does not get more attention than her. She's just being difficult now.
He believes it's because he's the sweetest.
He's the sweetest.
So, all right.
He and I go back a very long time.
Yeah. So, taking off the hot seat a little bit, we can switch to General Cannoli's question of 3 favorite male and female wrestlers.
I was expecting this.
Yeah. 3 of each.
Male and female.
Raven is my favorite male wrestler. Okay. I have been a diehard Raven fan for a very long time. It'll sound very cliche, but Austin, I'm Stone Cold. I don't know if you can find a picture of me for a 10-year stretch that I wasn't wearing a Stone Cold shirt.
Different ones.
Yes, different ones. I was often forced to turn them inside out when I wore them to school. And another male wrestler, oh God, somebody that never got a lot of credit was Billy Gunn. I'm really torn on that. I'm a huge Billy Gunn fan, and I mean, I brought up Benoit shortly before. I may not enjoy watching anybody wrestle as much as I did against Benoit. Actually, my favorite all-time wrestling match had Raven and Benoit, and it was a triple threat match at WCW. Oh, why can't I think of the? I can't think of the name of the pay-per-view, but it was a triple. It was for the U.S. title belt in WCW, and it was a pretty amazing match. Lodi had a sign, and it said "Use my sign," and there was a stop sign in between the 2 pieces of a poster board. It was a good match. But female wrestlers, Becky Lynch, I really enjoy her. I mean, when she took off, it was I don't know if any female superstar has ever been over the way that she was, and it was incredible to watch her run with it. China and Victoria.
All right.
All right. So let me check here real quick. All right. Well, so Dottie Dart has a question, and Phenomenal One has the same type of question. But Dottie Dart wants to know who's your favorite member of the Rack Pack besides Candyman. But Phenomenal One wants to know who's your favorite Rack Pack member, including Candyman. So.
Well, of course, including Candyman.
Okay.
And I'm not starting any drama with that. I'm not answering that. I'll never hear the end of it.
Good answer.
All right. Yeah, and Phenomenal does want to clarify that there are multiple kids that prove that Candyman gets more attention than he does. Which is kind of weird. Anyway. All right. So Candyman would like to know, what advice would you give to a new player?
I would say don't get discouraged by just losing to turn rolls. That was a really hard thing for me to get used to in this game, was that there's games that you lose and you had no control over the loss.
Yeah.
I mean, I played in the event, I want to say it was Friday night or something. I lost my first 2 matches of the night, and I had 3 combined turns between both games. I had 1 in game 1, 2 in game 2.
Yeah.
And it was what it was. In my first match, my opponent rolled a natural 10 on crowd meter 0, and I rolled 999 for the breakout rolls. In my second game, I lost 4 consecutive turn rolls to my opponent rolling a 6, and I rolled a 5 all 4 of them. Like,
Yeah.
it just happens. I mean, and above that, learning your stop numbers, knowing what your opponent, knowing what each deck has the possibility of containing is everything.
All right. The Face, one of the #1 contenders for the LFF Hardcore title, would like to know, who is your favorite Super Show competitor?
Oh, come on. Sierra.
Well, hopefully, that'll be changed to a Candyman Dan soon. I think the
Yes.
longest-awaited competitor release in LFF history, I think.
I expect to see it much sooner than later.
Okay.
I can say that if it's not being printed, that it's at least being tested and everything is done, and I'm done on my end.
Okay. Going back to the Rack Pack question, Dottie Dart wants you to know that refusing to answer it kind of makes you a wimp, and that Angela would have picked her. So.
I mean, if we want to turn the subject about how she says I pay more attention to Kirk, she probably pays more attention to Dottie than me. So.
I mean, probably fair. Anyway, General Cannoli would like to know your top 3 favorite candies.
I love chocolate oranges. I don't know if it's my favorite, but it is up there. Reese's Sticks. I don't know if you've had them, but they are amazing.
I believe when I could eat candy, I've had them before.
And then Turtles.
Okay. Solid choices, I think.
I don't discriminate. I love candy.
Yeah, Phenomenal ones saying M&M's himself.
I'm an M&M guy.
What color? Hey, he wants to know what color M&M's would you eat?
What color would I eat?
Yeah. Well, some people prefer certain colors.
I don't prefer certain colors, but I can say that for a very long time, I would like, if I grabbed a handful or something, I might eat all of one color out. I'd eat all of one color, and then I'd eat all of another color, and then I'd eat all of another color. But just because of what color they were, it didn't stop me from eating all of them.
Yeah, so which color did you always eat first?
Blue.
And then which one did you save for last?
Brown.
Okay.
I was the guy that had like handfuls and.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Believe me, if I were to ever have a tube of M&M minis, I'd just drink the thing.
Yeah. I was the guy that would just buy Reese's Pieces. So.
But I have 2 rules, or actually 1 rule: do not mess with my Kit Kats and M&Ms. I get pissed.
Fair.
See, you keep bringing up candy, and now I just want all of it.
Yeah.
I do not discriminate.
Yeah,
Well, Well, you say that. I say that, but I was asked sweet or sour earlier. I'm much more of a chocolate person than I am like Skittles or Starburst or anything like that. Actually, as far if you want to ask about colors, I only eat orange Skittles and Starburst. I don't eat any of the other flavors.
Okay. Yeah. So now when it comes to me for candy, I'm a Philadelphia pure born and raised, so I'm a big fan of the peanut chews.
I've been to Philly quite a few times.
Yeah, which some
Hold
people
the
are
line,
not
Harry,
fans of.
in our chat literally just said he's eating a chocolate orange right now.
Oh God. You know, I have eaten all the ones that I had, but my mother has been forced to quarantine and she hasn't come over with like the kids' Christmas presents or anything yet. And every year she brings me at least one. So I'm holding out hope that I still get the chance to get one.
Fair. All right. So phenomenal one as Pierce or Big Head.
Oh, come on. Why do I have to keep picking between people?
I mean, there's more after it too. So.
I love you, James. Don't hate me, Ryan.
All right. And then his next one was GPS or Tag.
GPS.
And young allergy would like to know: do you get down with the black licorice though?
No, I don't.
Oh.
I don't.
I agree.
I don't. I'm not even like a fan like the rainbow one. I'll stick to or cherry. I stick to strawberry Twizzlers.
Yeah, which for people following at home, Twizzlers are actually not licorice, even though they look like it.
All right, Jeff. We got a question from Hold the Line Harry himself here in the chat. He had his hand up.
Hey, can you hear me okay, Foxworthy?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes.
Cool. I'm first time on the Zoom actually asking the question live. What's up, Candyman Dan?
What's going on, Harry?
Hey, I'm glad. I wanted to make sure I came on your show because, as you know, I'm a big fan. We've had a few good rivalries along the way, but I actually wanted to ask a question, not about Super Show, but to something you mentioned a little earlier, and that's traveling for other big tournaments. I mean, I only just got into Super Show, as you know, just a little over a year ago, and I've only ever traveled for Super Show. I went to Plaid Saturday. I went to Florida. But what you, by the sound of it, you know, you did a lot of other card games, a lot of other card games. What other cities have you been to for big events, and are there any big memorable moments outside of Super Show?
I mean, funny enough, the only time I've ever left the country was to Toronto, and that was for a Rodial tournament. And I've been to Vegas now probably 7 years consecutively for the Universal Fighting System World Championship, which I won the team event for that back in 2014, and then I won the 2017 U.S. National Singles for that game in Atlanta, your area, Harry. Typically, over the recent years, most of my traveling for card games has been upstate New York, Las Vegas, and Atlanta. But prior to that, I lived in Maryland for about 7 years, and I'd say every other weekend I was going at least 8 hours away. I was at Gen Con. I went to Gen Con from 2007 to 2015. I missed 2 years in there. I missed 2010 and 12. I went to Origins for years. I've been to Wisconsin for card tournaments. My craziest one was I drove to Rochester, New York, spent the night there. That was like a 7-hour drive. And then I carpooled with the people that I stayed at's house to Detroit, which was like another 6 hours just to play in a card tournament there. And then basically did the same exact thing in reverse. I spent more time in a car than I did for the entire rest of the trip.
Wow, that's a lot of hard labor to play some cards.
It
Awesome,
is.
man.
But
Well,
I won that event, so it was worth it.
there you go. I know. I think on the books so far, I think the convention-wise, the Dragon Con has now said that they have dates in September, and I think Gen Con has dates in August. So fingers crossed, we'll have 2021, baby.
I miss Gen Con more than anything. I'll never forget how like it was almost like depressing not going in 2010 and 2012 for me. And just how much I would look forward to it the following year. I stopped going in 2015 because the game that I played there moved the World Championship from Gen Con to Vegas, and I couldn't do both trips. But the next Gen Con that is held in person, I will be there without a shadow of a doubt.
All right. So, let's see. All right. So, Phenomenal One mentioned earlier, Cadbury eggs are top tier, which is fair.
God, I say that I don't discriminate on candy, but I don't like Cadbury eggs either. Well, I like the ones with caramel in the middle, but not the cream.
All right. And then he followed it up with a very big choice for you. SRG BOSS or Sage the Wiccan Witch?
You know, some of my best conversations I've had at the 2 live Super Show events that I've gotten to go to have been with Sage.
Yeah.
Her and I have had some really great conversations.
Yeah, well, I mean, with the way the boss's brain is, no one has great conversations with him. So, I mean, it's an easy choice. And then Master Micah would like you to choose between the Line or the Cuddle Commandos, which is a pretty easy choice, because who doesn't love a hug? No?
He may have held the line against me to make sure I didn't get that Underworld belt, but I do love some cuddles from Matt Dillon.
Yeah. Oh,
Vegan
Phenomenal One
cuddle.
pointed out
I
that-
might still be a little salty from Faction Wars too, so
Yeah.
don't hold it against me.
Phenomenal One wants to point out, though, that his question actually, because he worded it as the Rusk family, so it does include Pumpkin and Ariel lipstick.
Oh, Ariel?
Yeah.
I haven't gotten to meet Pumpkin yet.
Yeah. I mean, but we all know the SRG BOSS is the lowest tier of that family. I mean, without a doubt.
I mean, it's great that he's asking that conversation because, again, my first conversation with Sage ever was at FreeCon, and when her and I sat down to play against each other, one of the first things she said to me, and I had heard it all day at that point, but she goes, "Has anybody ever told you how much you look like a guy named Kirk Poca that plays this game?" And I mean, for that whole day, it's all I heard.
Which is better because you knew him prior, so.
And that was what it was. And the fact that I could tell everybody that he was actually the one that taught me how to play the game and that I knew him from another game, it just made everything funnier.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right. So let me check the Twitch chat again, see if anyone has any questions in Twitch. Yeah, the face pointed out that everyone's asking tough questions, which, of course so. Some people you just got the tough questions for. Yeah. And no one with the raised hand there, none there. So, Dustin, hold on. Phenomenal said, do you remember when we went to the pizza bar and the waitress asked us that same question?
Yeah, the waitress actually thought we were twin brothers. We went out as a group to another restaurant, and they were like on a short menu or something, and Kirk and I just wandered off to a pizza place down the street, and the waitress actually thought we were twin brothers.
All right. So Master Micah would like to know, and this is probably going to be the toughest question to answer, really, because I mean you're going to probably aggravate a lot of people with the answer. Who has the best beard in the LFF?
Who has the best beard in the LFF?
Yeah, I mean that. I know there's so many people who lay claim to that title. That that's probably the most hotly contested title in the LFF.
I mean, I trimmed mine about 2 weeks ago. The mask and it weren't getting along, but And of course, I see General Yuan commenting down there. I'm going to give it to my brother, the phenomenal.
Yeah. You know, in the end, that's probably the best answer for you because you look so much like Kirk that if you give it to him, it's kind of like giving it to yourself, and while being humble. So it's like the best of both worlds. So.
Spoiler alert, folks! On our show, they are literally brothers. You heard it.
Yeah. Yep. Sheep brothers.
Yeah.
The sheeples.
Yeah. Micah is booing you because I guess he wanted to be considered the best beard in the LFF. But yeah, Micah doesn't do enough promos for it to.
I haven't seen Micah's beard enough.
Yeah.
Or you could be like me and accidentally make a bald spot, and then you have to shave the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we could talk about. I won't lie. I mean, it's really tough for me to grow one. And then right here, I literally have a cowlick in my beard right here. It just twists right here, and it makes it all uneven, and it's nasty.
Yeah. Oh man, beards. All right. Well, you know, all this talk of like cuddle commandos and members of the higher class. You join in. I mean, like you would fit in with it. I mean, obviously you can't do the Rack Pack, but the Rack Pack has ties with the cuddle commandos. You have ties with higher class. Any thoughts on ending your career as a freelancer and going with one of those factions?
I mean, I don't know about one of those factions, but I think I might have something coming pretty soon.
Cool. And let's not spoil it so everyone can enjoy it when it happens then. And then we'll go back to the hard choices, which to me, this is really a weird question because I don't see the difference. Chocolate bunny or chocolate or Christmas tree?
Chocolate bunny or Christmas tree?
Mm-hmm.
Oh God!
It's the texture. Do you like the look?
Tree?
I think
if I can have a Reese's Christmas tree, I'm taking the Reese's Christmas tree.
Yeah, I mean,
but then again, they make Reese's bunnies
too. Yeah. Yeah, and eggs, and you can have a whole Easter of just Reese's product.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like the thing is, it's the same. It's just like the shape shouldn't really matter. It's the taste, as long as the taste is.
But you know what though, Lindt makes a really good chocolate bunny.
Well, yeah.
So I mean, I'll take the Lindt chocolate bunny.
Yeah, I mean, Lindt makes really good stuff. I mean, anytime you get candy from outside the U.S., it's generally better than the U.S. stuff.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they actually use real stuff.
If anybody hasn't tried one of the M&M candy bars, they're really good too. Because I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Mars and Dove are the same company. Yes. And the chocolate in the Mars, in the M&M bar is actually the Dove chocolate. It's delicious.
Nice.
Yeah, I haven't had them, but I have put them in many supermarkets, so I can't eat them anymore. Candy bar.
What do you do for work?
I'm a retail merchandiser, so I go
for what company?
Acosta Sales and Marketing.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
I mean, I work at Walmart, so I know all about Acosta.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's one of the biggest ones in the country, so yeah. So, but I do them in shop rates in the Philadelphia, New Jersey type area, so. Yeah, so I'm used to all these different types of candies and who makes them, and but nowadays since I'm on a calorie watch diet, a candy bar is like a quarter of my calories for the day, so it's usually not in excess that I really.
Yeah, believe me, one of these days I'll have to cut back. Trying not to have it be anytime soon, but I probably should.
Not to be a downer, but I was never really a candy person. I mean. You put a Twix in front of me, I'll eat it. But my parents loved me because Halloween time, they ate all they would get all my candy.
Wow. No, oh God, I love chocolate.
Yeah. All right. Phenomenal one wants to know who would be a better cuddle commando, GPS or Fox?
I'm going to go with Fox. Sorry, Dust.
Well, even after.
No, you're fine.
I thought
half the
Faction Wars
time
would
he's in
have
a
definitely-
straitjacket, so I don't see him being able to hug.
After Faction Wars, though, I thought GPS would have been up there. A
Yeah.
little bit higher than me. Oof.
He's kind of cuddling himself, in a straitjacket.
Yeah, I just have nightmares of Seven Seals from Dustin. So,
Fair.
oh God.
All right. So, obviously, you won LFF Rookie of the Year. So what are your goals in the LFF for 2021?
I'm coming for that Player of the Year. I think I can do it. I definitely want to win LFF Gold this year. Hopefully in 25 days. Got that triad match that I'm hopeful to come through with. But I'm hoping to have a really big year this year.
Yeah, and Plaid Saturday's coming through, and that's a good opportunity for everyone to try to start the year off in a good way. That'll be whoever wins that is probably going to be the first front runner for Player of the Year. And Phenomenal One's saying that you should try for Rookie of the Year in 2021 as well. Do a back-to-back Rookie of the Year.
Well, I don't know if you remember, but one of my first comments after that was I'm thinking about running it back. So.
Yeah.
I mean, if I come up with a new gimmick, aren't I a new player?
I mean, it could be.
Shave my beard, nobody will know who I am.
Oh man.
They'll think it's a beardless Kurt Polka.
Oh God.
I
I mean, I've hit the point where I don't think I've had a clean shaven face in at least 10 years now.
Now, so you have your competitor coming out. Do you think you're gonna try to go down the Kirk Polka route and have like multiple different versions of yourself as a competitor and art, and then maybe just throw people off, have maybe art of Candyman Dan, and then have a Phenomenal One logo on it instead?
That would be really cool. I would say that my goal before I would have multiples of myself is to create my family into the game.
Okay.
Speaking of that, all the support in the world for Candyman in that CCC. Let's keep everything going. Make it a little bit lighter on my wallet. I came pretty close to getting another competitor at the online free con event, but fell just short. Maybe we'll see what I can do at Plaid Saturday. But no, I want to try to get the kids and everybody into the game if I can. And then that would be before I would think about doing anything beyond that.
Mike is saying you should try to go for Rookie Tag Team of the Year in 2021. And
Rookie.
yeah, Phenomenal One's mentioning that all you need to do to become another rookie is lose your memory. And you should
You're not wrong.
And I'm pretty sure he knows someone with shovels, so he can probably help you there.
He does.
Yeah.
I see Kirk sending shovels to people all the time, and I don't own a shovel.
Oh, wow.
Everybody hearing this, Candyman needs a shovel.
Oof. All right. And he also has another question, and I think he thinks this is going to be a hard one, but it's John Press 1P, or a piece of toast. I don't even think it's buttered toast, but it still seems like the more appetizing one.
I mean, outside of character here, I love to give John a hard time, but John's a good guy.
Yeah.
I'll take John.
Yeah, he was the one you beat for your the FreeCon win, wasn't it?
He was, and he beat me at the Gen Con finals. But yeah, I mean, I told a lot of people after that. It was funny because everybody holds John on this pedestal, but maybe it helped take the nerve off that I had no idea who the hell he was when I beat him.
Yeah, but he was a World Deal champion apparently too. So
He was. but he picked up. I'm not sure if he was playing the game while it was still alive. I stopped playing when the game died, so I didn't really know him that well.
Okay.
I think he started playing it after it had already actually ceased to be stopped printing and all that stuff. But don't quote me on that.
Okay. All right. So everyone is going to quote him on that.
Yeah.
See it on the forum. Young Allergy's pointing out the piece of toast can flip. So does that make it a superior character? Probably. If, it'll probably actually use the press one power bomb too.
If you said raisin toast, you would have had me.
Yeah. Fair.
I mean, Pepperidge Farm raisin toast is amazing. So.
Yeah, Pepperidge Farm makes some good breadery. With that, I'm trying to think. I had something in my head before that toast thing came up, and then like derailed what I was thinking. Yeah, it's not often you have to.
I mean, Dustin can reject one of us. So.
Yeah.
All right. So while I'm trying to rethink it, Phenomenal One, what card are we playing for in the dojo tonight? He wants to know.
Silent
Sorry,
J?
it was Phenomenal One's toast. Silent J. Yeah, it's a strong competitor. Really powerful finishers and a pretty good gimmick. It's a scary one, especially since it rerolls strikes, and I kind of like characters with high strike. I know what I was gonna ask. So I think one of the issues with not going back to live play is if we were in live play, you could get yourself a world title shot easy. All you have to do is wait until Polka gets his shot, knock him out, and then just sit in the seat and get that revenge against Pre for the world title. I think that would have been a great move, but obviously online play makes it a little harder.
It does.
Yeah,
I mean, we'll get there.
I'm kind of thinking of the like the Kane imposter thing.
Well, I mean, I was thinking we could be like the Bella Twins, so we could just keep switching out in the middle of our matches. Put the cash one in.
Yeah, Sheep Brother magic. I mean, hey, Kirk's always making cards, so that seems like a perfect card for the game. So we'll see. We'll see if that comes out in a couple months.
We might have a trio coming out.
Yeah, Kirk is probably. I think at this point, Kirk has created more cards in this game than Steve has. Like,
doesn't it feel like that?
Yeah, I mean, definitely quality. When it goes to quality cards, I'm pretty sure. All right. Master Micah would like to know your favorite spoiled New Japan Pro Wrestling competitor.
I am not up to date on all of them, but I really like as far as the names to the gimmick.
The ones that were spoiled today, I think, because he spoiled.
I really like the one that says when your opponent rolls if I'm not mistaken, if your opponent rolls technique, you can bump.
Yes, I believe that's Naito.
I really like it.
Oh, that's really powerful, especially since he also has that one. I think it's a finisher that when he rolls technique, which is his 10, he can play it as a lead. Is it
if he rolls technique? I thought.
Or no, it's if your opponent rolls technique.
Yeah, so if your opponent has the lower technique, you can just choose to win the turn roll rather than bump.
It's good. I don't know if they've. I think they've spoiled the Rainmaker, which is a pretty powerful finisher too, from Okada. I mean, I think it's going to be good. I mean, the people who only play real professional wrestlers in this game are going to get a huge power bump when New Japan gets released. I think.
Yeah.
It's going to make it tough.
I have a lot of friends that I've seen show a lot of interest, like that I've played other card games with, that are just huge wrestling fans, that this has piqued a lot of their interest.
Yeah.
Independent wise, who was probably one of the best, that the LFF has, independent wise, that you were like, yes, I'm so happy he's out, kind of mood, I guess I could say.
I mean, from a name standpoint, I was really excited when I saw Sabu coming into the game. I haven't put much time into playing him, but as far as like a name brand that resonated with me, I would have said that it was Sabu.
Yeah, I mean, going back to having Raven as one of your favorite wrestlers, you're obviously going to be really familiar with
Mhm.
Sabu, because
Yeah.
they tend to go hand in hand for a while in same promotion. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, and yeah, I mean, like him and RVD were probably really big for the game, but I think New Japan's going to pretty much bring it to another level of popularity as opposed to like the because again the difference is Sabu's great and all, but he was a lot harder to get for most people. Like you either had to get really lucky in a mystery box or a payoff pack, or buy the hardcore box set. So, whereas
So
New
like
Japan's going to be start decks.
right when I was really starting to come in locally, I was getting some of the other people in the SRG community into trying to get them to play UFS with me as well, and just trying to blend the two communities. And the hardcore box set was already sold out, but James had an extra one, and I basically built him a few UFS decks, and I was able to get that second one off of him. So I had Sabu pretty early on. I was
Okay.
fortunate to grab him.
Yeah. All right. So Phenomenal One is going to, as we got about 10 minutes or so left in the show, he wants to ask the most controversial question of the day, and I don't know how. So, the question is about pizza. New York pizza or whatever that thing that Chicago eats that they kind of call pizza.
Whatever that thing that Chicago eats, you mean
That was
delicious?
not biased at all.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, that's the way I read the question. I can't.
all I can say is whatever that thing that Chicago eats is delicious, and I will take that every day of the week. I've only gotten to have it like a handful of times, but I've never been disappointed.
We have a place down here called O Chicago's, and they make like all their beer, like they make beer crust and everything. I love it.
Oh, it's so good. I mean,
They look like decent casseroles.
I wish there. I mean, honestly, the more that there's been talking, I'm like determined to try to find a place around here that makes them. I mean, obviously, it won't be as good because it won't be as authentic. But the last time I was in Vegas last February, I went to a Chicago style pizza place, and oh, it was so good.
All right. So Micah has a question that's probably not going to be as controversial, at least not to me. Nathan's hot dogs or Chicago dogs?
I don't know if I've had a Chicago dog, so I don't know if I can put
Yeah.
them against one another.
Yeah. It's a weird combination because Nathan's is just a brand of hot dogs. You could technically make a Chicago dog with a Nathan's and
Yeah.
have both. Uh, I mean, if you were going like Nathan's or Ballpark or Dietz and Watson, that'd be a question. Or normal hot dogs, or like a New York hot dog where it's or even a Philly one where you get it from a food cart versus a Chicago dog. Sure, but right, yeah, he did clarify street vendor dogs then, or
Yeah.
Chicago, but you didn't have
Which
Chicago,
knows the
so
next
yeah,
time we'll ever be able to have one of those.
yeah, yeah,
Oh, I mean, we'll say it like this. I do love hot dogs, but I actually will do everything in my power to burn it as much as humanly possible before I eat it. I love burnt hot dogs.
I agree. When you put them on a grill and they get like that nice char on them, I think that's
Exactly.
yeah. Now I'm not saying that a good street vendor dog that's been sitting there all day can't be just amazing at certain times, but
Yeah, and I mean, I don't mind going to Fenway and having a Fenway Frank.
yeah, yeah. I'm from Philly, so for me, like the hot dogs to me are Dietz and Watson. It's not like
Mm-hmm.
Nathan's or like the street vendor dogs. A lot of them I see are Sabret, not really Nathan's, but because Nathan's is expensive around here. That's like a specialty brand. All right.
I mean, I've been to Philly. I've had like the street dogs in Philly many times. I mean, I've been there probably 30 or more times for card events.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I lived in Maryland for a while. It wasn't a bad trip for me.
Yeah.
I worked in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania for years.
Okay. Yeah, and people don't understand the way food works in Philly is you walk a block, there's like 3 different food places, like
Mm-hmm.
and you can find almost any style of food you want there. Like whether it's good or not is debatable, But there's going to be at least a few places that make any style of thing you want, because Philly's weird that way. I mean, unless it's a cheesesteak, there is really no like, and even then, there's different varieties depending on your neighborhoods. There's no like set in the stone way, like Chicago pizza. Oh well, this is a Chicago pizza. If you go get pizza in Philly, there's places that are going to make Chicago style. There's people that are going to make New York. There's people that are going to make the tavern pizza, and different variations. There are what we call boardwalk pizzas, like the South Jersey type.
I had one of my best milkshakes that I've ever had in like a suburb of Philly. There was a place called Nifty 50s.
Okay. Yeah, up in King of Prussia.
Yeah.
All right. So, Phenomenal One would like to know your favorite Tornado tag team.
People's Champions.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense. And Master Mike labels this next question question that will kill a man. It comes from Candyman. What's your favorite things about Candyman? So, I mean, let's just hope your list matches up with hers.
I'm not answering these questions. They're made to get me in trouble, and I'm not doing that.
Well,
basically, what he's saying, folks, is the thought of her. He's so speechless.
Exactly.
Words. There you go.
Thank you,
just to let you know, she's starting at 10 count, by the way.
my dinner just went in the trash.
Well, you might got 7 more seconds though to answer, or unless she's doing a 3 count. Yeah, she's doing a 10 count.
Oh God.
So she's only at 4 now, or 10. Wow, it jumped really quickly to 10.
She knows
the couch.
Hey, good thing I work an overnight tonight.
Phenomenal One would like to know why is Dottie Dart your favorite member of the Rack Pack?
I didn't say that.
Oh man, yeah, it seems like people just really want to get you into trouble tonight.
They do.
It wasn't this Kurt; it's the other Kurt that said.
Oh, believe me, I'll be having words with them in a little while.
More couch time and like baby duty. There you go. Sorry, buddy.
Baby duty's not a punishment.
He's run out of people to play this game. You might as well just start making my kids for me.
Yeah, I mean that seems fair. I mean, because in a way they're his kids too. Oh man. I haven't checked the Zoom room to see if hands were raised in a while. I forgot about it. Yeah, so no questions back in there. All right, so we got about 5 minutes left in the show. So if there's any follow-up questions, Candyman's like, one of them might be his. And then she did quickly follow up with joking and laughing, but you know. I mean, you couldn't tell because they look the same, right? So, like, it's the old switcheroony. The twins magic. This is going off the rails. I've contributed to it.
We went from Twizzlers to Twinsies.
Yeah. Oh man. All right. So we got any non-inflammatory questions to end the show with? How about you, Dustin? Because I am not leading to good ways here.
I'm pretty much brain fried from all these, like.
All right. All right. Yeah. Phenomenal One saying the DNA is almost identical, sheep and candy DNA. And Candyman wants to know, what does your shirt say?
Oh, well, she's the one that bought it for me, so.
Yeah.
It's not gonna lick itself.
Which is true. Oh man.
I mean, if she buys all my candy apparel. If I have the other one here. This is my other go-to candy shirt.
That's a good one. All right. So Michael would like to know: have you had Cajun food?
Cajun food.
Imagine he means like
I wouldn't
jambalaya and
say.
stuff like that.
No, I'm sadly a
Crawfish.
pretty picky eater, so I wish I wasn't, but
I am as well, so I'm with you there. Well, I think the only thing I'll eat Cajun is blackened catfish, but
see, I don't think I've ever tried catfish.
there's a
As
lot
far
of
as,
people who won't eat it
as
because it's
far as
sour.
seafood goes, it's shrimp, scallops, and lobster.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, figure where you are. Lobster was going to be on that list.
Oh yeah,
Lobster's
I,
like
I
chicken.
didn't start eating it until I was early teens, but oh god, I love it.
But the Phenomenal One wants to know who would win in a match, GPS or Fox. I mean,
I don't know. Can we see it?
uh, the last time we played, it was on stream, and Dustin did win.
Oh,
It was for the intergalactic title shot, I believe. So we're not going to talk about the ones where I've won them off screen. Like,
yeah.
my one actual event win, the Press 1P pop-up invitational, where I beat him in the finals.
He made me hate Philly cheesesteaks.
All right. So the last question for you we'll have tonight is going to be probably I don't know, it could be, I think Phenomenal One thinks it's going to be divisive. Raw deal or Super Show?
Please don't hate me, people, but Raw Deal was the best card game that I've ever played. And I've played a lot of card games. Mechanically, I love that game and I miss it so much. It's hard for me to go against it. I have a lot of fun with Super Show, a lot of fun playing it, but I will forever miss Raw Deal and always hope for its return.
All right. Yeah, Phenomenal One's not the virtual. Fuck that shit.
Exactly. I haven't touched virtual. My community every once in a while, I mean, before COVID and all that stuff, we were getting together quarterly and still holding like non-virtual events for it.
All right. Well, thank you for the show. I know Dustin has something to say before we officially end the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, thanks.
Hey, it's been a pleasure, man. Yeah, I appreciate you being on here, of course. Also, I was gonna let other people know that I still take people in. If anybody wants to be on the show, let me know, and I'll schedule you in. I'm gonna go ahead and announce that next week's episode is gonna be none other than Greg Shockley, aka Hobbit. And I'm sure that show will be for all the ladies.
Yeah, it should be. All right, and there was something else I believe you wanted to talk about too, Dustin.
Yeah.
Put them on the spot.
I was gonna announce that yes, of course. For right now, with time being, I am not in Impact. I'm going to keep doing these shows and stuff, and you'll see me in events and stuff. But I'm going to be taking a little short break, of course, from being in factions and stuff. And I talked to them, and I know Storyline, and you know, which like Booger's video and stuff like that. But on the outside, I love those guys, and of course, I love the whole LFF. So I'm still here. I'm not going anywhere.
All right. All right. Well, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you, Dan, for being on the show. It was a great show.
Thank you, Dan, man.
Thank you for being back this week, Dustin. It's always great with you here.
Hey, and also from now on, I'll be here. It's really good, help and distraction for me to be on these shows, and I love doing these, and
right.
I appreciate you being on.
All right. And with that, later, folks.
I'll see you later.